When the salesman at the luxury car dealership saw how we were dressed, he changed his attitude. "Are you sure you're in the right store? We came here to buy a car. Poor potato farmers. Get out. Go back home." His utterly unreasonable and arrogant response infuriated my husband. "All right then, we are leaving. Let's go, Diane." "Yes." My husband and I left the store. This salesman, who looked down on us completely, would soon be surprised to learn what would become of him. My name is Diane Anderson, 52 years old. I run a farm that I inherited from my parents. Now that our children have their own families, it's just my husband and me. That said, our eldest son and his wife also farm with us, living not too far away. The vast northern lands with their clear air are where I was born and raised. My husband, Tom, who will be 55 soon, has completely adapted to this rural life as well. He likes it here even more than I do now and can't imagine living anywhere else. I'm very happy that he has come to love my hometown so much. However, when we got married, I never thought my husband, who was a company employee in the city, would take over my parents' farm. It has been 20 years since we moved here and started farming. I had moved to the city for university and stayed in the city for work, where I met my husband at the workplace. To be precise, he was working at the headquarters and I was at a subsidiary, but we met through work when he was on assignment and started dating. Our relationship went smoothly, and we got married, of course planning to live somewhere commutable to work. His family being from the Northeast area, I intended to settle in the city. When I moved to New York, I had vaguely thought I'd return to my hometown someday, but I was the one who decided on my jobs and marriage. I went home every summer and Christmas, and I had no regrets. Our life took a turn in the 5th year of our marriage. Already blessed with 2 children, we were living happily, though busily, when I noticed something was off with my husband. He looked tired and was lacking in energy. He had lost his appetite. Although he used to go straight to see our children sleeping when he got home, he often forgot that and just stared blankly. "What's wrong? You haven't been eating much lately. Is work tough?" "Oh, sorry. I've been a bit busy and tired." "Don't worry about it." Even though he said that, I was concerned. When we finally had time to talk properly, the reason turned out to be a change of his boss. He had always had a smooth working relationship, but the new boss was prideful and mean, and for some reason, he picked on my husband, mocking and insulting him daily. As an employee, my husband said some unreasonable things were inevitable, but it was hard to see my kind and easygoing husband so down. Around the same time, I got a call from my mother at home saying that my father had broken a bone and was hospitalized. "We'll be in trouble because we can't farm for a while." Well, we have to manage somehow, but it's hard without the main support. "Is Dad okay?" While worrying about my father, an idea suddenly struck me. Why not start farming with my husband as well? Whenever we visited my hometown, my husband would say how great it would be to live amid such nature. I knew starting farming from scratch wasn't easy, but fortunately my parents were there. We could learn from the people closest to us. It felt much better than continuing to work under stress and endure at his company. Taking a chance, I brought it up with my husband, and he was surprised by my suggestion. I see. I'll think about it. I wasn't sure what he would decide since it meant moving and completely changing our lifestyle. But by the next day, he had made up his mind. I'll go along with your idea, Diane. Life is long. I want to work with a smile and pride for the sake of our children as well. Let's jump into a new environment. Thus, my husband and I moved with our young children and started a farming life in my hometown. My parents were thrilled to welcome their daughter and son-in-law who wanted to take over the farm. My father was a well-known potato farmer in the area, so not only did we get to learn agriculture, but his connections were also very helpful. However, getting used to the unfamiliar farm work was initially tough. We were covered in mud every day as we plowed the fields. Handling the machinery was difficult, and our bodies were our assets, leaving no time for rest. But my husband seemed happier than when he was an office worker. Even when I say I'm tired, it's completely different from when I was at the company. My body might be tired, but my mind is clear, and it's a good kind of fatigue, he often said. Because you suggested it back then, I am who I am today. Thank you always for supporting me, Diane, he would say. As time passed while we engaged in farming, both his mind and body regained their health, which made me incredibly happy. 20 years have passed since we moved. Originally, my parents' farm had a stable income, but now it has grown even larger, not only from what my parents and grandparents built, but also from the new ventures started by my husband. However, we didn't achieve this alone. It was done with the knowledge and connections inherited from my parents and the help of many people. One day, when we were buying an additional mini truck for farming, my husband suggested we also buy a new car for private use. The area is pleasant for drives, and there are many scenic places just a short drive away. Since we're at it, let's find a car we both like and go on many trips together, he said. He had already done some preliminary looking, and today we were going to choose the color and make the purchase. Excited, we headed to the city dealer. As we were about to enter the store, a salesman came to the entrance to greet us. "Welcome, dear customers," he said in a very polite tone, but his expression quickly changed to one of confusion when he looked up and saw us. He eyed my husband and me from top to bottom. Confused by the salesman's dramatic change, I remembered that we had come straight from the fields in our work clothes. That explained it. We didn't have time today, and we came directly after finishing our work. We were even still in our boots. Of course, we had washed our hands cleanly and, naturally, knocked off any mud or dirt as a matter of manners. Such attire isn't that unusual around here. The staff who helped us last time had no issues, but this salesman's reaction was quite exaggerated. Maybe he's new? He doesn't seem that young, though. Are you sure you're in the right store? The salesman blurted out the first thing. Yes, this is the right place. We came here to buy a car, my husband responded, and the salesman's eyes widened. Then he burst out laughing. Oops, my apologies. Do you even know how much our cars cost? Of course. We've looked at the catalog and came to see them the other day. Well, maybe you should start with buying some clothes first, like a jacket or a shirt. Those might be more within your reach than a car. We came here to buy a car, not clothes. If we wanted clothes, we would have gone to a clothing store in the first place. Well, we're here because we want to buy a car. We've even made a reservation to purchase one here. My husband, likely thinking the same thing, repeated his statement, and the salesman snorted dismissively. A reservation? Please, save the lies. I get it. Men aspire to luxury cars. But coming here in such filthy attire to a luxury car dealership? I can't sell to customers without money. His tone became harsher. What a rude attitude. Just because our clothes were casual, well, work clothes. But such a response was unprecedented. We can certainly pay properly. Talk is cheap. I was handpicked by the headquarters to turn this branch around. I'm the ace. I have an eye for customers. He boasted, looking at us intensely, then testing us with a question. Well, what's the most expensive thing you've bought recently? Let me see. My husband hesitated, exchanging glances with me, then answered, Oh, we don't really buy many things, but last winter we took a family trip to Cancun for a month. That was quite a luxury. Yes, we invited everyone who's been working hard, and it was fun. We're discussing taking a domestic trip this winter instead if we purchase a new car here, I added, trying to shift the conversation back on track. The salesman burst out laughing again. Cancun? Even the lady is rich in fantasies. What a grand fairy tale. Let me guess, you work in agriculture? Yes, we mainly grow potatoes. When my husband answered with a smile, the salesman burst out laughing again. Exactly. You really do look like potato farmers. Potatoes suit you well. Saying this, he laughed uproariously. But our cars definitely don't suit you. I mean, expensive cars are out of reach for poor potato farmers like you. He gestured dismissively with his hand. I was finally fed up. Excuse me, your rudeness since the moment we arrived is unwarranted. We might be dressed like this because we didn't have time to change. But my husband indeed plans to purchase a car from here. Ma'am, you too, wearing a jumpsuit and boots. The ladies who come here usually wear brand dresses and jewelry. Well, brands wouldn't suit you anyway, but you could at least get your husband to buy you a skirt. At that moment, I heard my husband's demeanor change next to me. There wasn't actually a sound, though, but I could tell after all these years together. This egregiously rude salesman had now truly angered my normally calm husband. Unaware, he continued arrogantly, Look, poor potato farmers, just leave. Go back home. Is that so? I see. That's how you treat customers. Huh? We're leaving then. Let's go, Diane. Yes. My husband and I left the store. The salesman, who had completely looked down on us, laughed and said, We'll be waiting for your return. No, don't ever come back. He had no idea what was about to happen to him. As soon as we left the store, my husband pulled out his smartphone and made a call. It was probably to the manager of that dealership, or maybe even the regional manager. Not just the store manager, but my husband has connections with the regional manager as well. After all, our family has purchased dozens of cars from them over the years. Early the next morning, our doorbell rang insistently. When I opened the door, There stood the car manufacturer's regional manager and the salesman from yesterday. "Oh, Patrick, you came all this way? That's quite early." My husband spoke to him casually. "Mr. Anderson, I'm truly sorry for what happened. This man's mishandling has caused you great distress, and I apologize for that." The regional manager apologized deeply. Next to him, the same salesman looked perplexed. "What? You brought me here because of that poor farmer from yesterday? That annoying customer I told you about? All they did was joke about spending a month in Cancun in winter." The salesman said this carelessly, causing the regional manager's face to turn pale. "Jim, you've really done it now." "Huh? What did you do?" "A reservation for 20 cars has been canceled." "What? What are you talking about?" "That's what I'm trying to find out. Why do you think I dropped everything and rushed over here?" "Why would that be?" "Because of you, all 20 reservations were canceled, and they're even switching to another company for the trucks they always buy from us." The regional manager was holding his head. "If we lose business with Mr. Anderson, we're finished." "Wait, who is Mr. Anderson?" "This gentleman is the representative of the famous Anderson Vegful." "What? What do you mean?" "You don't know Mr. Anderson? He's the one." "No way." Mr. Anderson's company supplies vegetables to major corporations in the States. The potatoes for that leading potato chip brand. The tomatoes for that popular vegetable juice. And recently, their oranges and fruits have collaborated with trendy smoothie shops. "What? That trendy smoothie that celebrities are promoting and going viral?" It seemed even he realized the gravity of his mistake, as he exclaimed loudly, "Mr. Anderson has been a wonderful farmer for generations, but he has also been flexible in trying new initiatives, constantly improving his performance. He has contracts with renowned major corporations." "Huh, this guy." "There's no one in this northern land who doesn't know Mr. Anderson, including his predecessors." "So, the Cancun story too." "Yes, it gets very snowy here in the winter, and there's not much to do, so we went to Cancun for a month with the family." "It's not just us, right? I think the Morris family went to Paris. Everyone works hard every day and deserves a reward during their time off." My husband and I responded cheerfully. "That's unbelievable. To come here dressed like that, it's inconceivable." "What's inconceivable is your distorted prejudice." The regional manager scolded him. "Well then, what have I done?" The man who had been boasting in front of us suddenly quieted down. Indeed, while my parents' potato farm had been stable in earnings, simply wholesaling crops was no different from before. With the changing times and the evolving American diet, it's said that agriculture's future is in danger if we continue without change. So, my husband and I began to think. First, we thought about how to transform unmarketable, ugly vegetables into saleable products. We started processing them into vegetable juices and sweets, or selling them as sets at a bargain with the slogan, "Ugly in appearance, but the taste is the same." The vegetables grown in our inherited fields taste excellent, even if they look imperfect. Initially, our goal was to increase sales and recycle vegetables, but this initiative was a big hit. A famous cooking researcher liked our vegetables. Once cooked, appearance doesn't matter. What counts is the taste, which is excellent for the price. He promoted us in his magazine column and on social media, and our value packs sold out in no time. We had to scramble to make more sets of the misshapen vegetables. Our original vegetable juices and dressings became hits after popular young actors and idols mentioned them as their favorites. Later, upscale urban supermarkets approached us wanting to sell our vegetables, leading to increased production and wholesale. Sales continued to grow, and we even opened our own stores. Over the years, we opened more stores, and now our son and his wife have also started selling online, which is doing very well. Thanks to everyone, our annual income has been in the billions for the past few years. By this point, my husband is more a business owner than just a farmer, though he cherishes being in the fields more than anything. "I'll always stick to farming," he says, leaving the business aspects to our son, his wife, and our trusted executives. Whether opening new stores or starting online sales, every new venture brought its challenges and busy periods. We truly owe a lot to our hardworking staff who spared no effort, even losing sleep. It's because of everyone's efforts that we have what we have today. That's why my husband thought of giving cars as special bonuses to our son and the team members who helped so much. And for Diane, who I appreciate the most, I want to buy a nice car, he said. So, the cars for everyone else had already been reserved. "Patrick, it's a pity. We trusted your dealership since my father-in-law's time, but we can't continue with such treatment from your salesman. I'm truly sorry." The regional manager apologized deeply while the salesman, pale-faced, began to fidget. "Mr. Anderson, I sincerely apologize for what happened. Please, don't cancel. Would you consider buying from our store?" "I refuse. You judged people solely by their appearance and profession, and even insulted my wife. I don't want to buy important cars for my colleagues from a salesman with such biased views. We've already arranged with another manufacturer." "What?" "We will no longer need your services." My husband cut him off sharply, and the salesman began to backpedal. "Fooling around. Coming to buy a luxury car dressed like that. It's absurd. It's your fault for not understanding time, place, and occasion, even coming in work clothes and boots. What are you starting now, you mere clerk?" "Manager, isn't that the truth?" "What?" The regional manager sighed deeply. "Mr. Anderson is exceptional, but there are many other wonderful farmers in this area. They are all our customers. It's normal here to come in work clothes." "What?" I couldn't forgive this man's disrespectful attitude towards my husband, and I told him off with a smile. "It seems the one lacking common sense was you." After that, his bad reputation spread quickly. "That man doesn't know the common sense of the North. Hasn't he seen the greenhouse at Mr. Anderson's large farm? There are luxury cars parked next to the tractors. The Andersons have always loved cars. I heard there were many other customers he had treated rudely, and complaints had reached the headquarters. It turned out the salesman's claim I was handpicked by the headquarters to turn this branch around. I'm the ace," was a complete lie. He had caused problems at his previous store, and had been transferred here after causing a scandal involving inappropriate relationships. This only worsened his situation, leading to his dismissal for causing significant damage to the company. The scandal led his estranged wife to finally decide on divorce. As for my husband, the cars he recently purchased made our son, his wife, and our employees very happy. Seeing my husband's happy face, knowing everyone was pleased, made me even happier. From my own tough experiences as an office worker, I want to make sure that everyone can work happily. My husband often says, seeing everyone's smiles is the greatest joy and motivation for him. I deeply respect my husband for that, and I'm truly glad I dared to suggest we move all those years ago. Although starting in agriculture was challenging at first, all our hard work and efforts now feel rewarded. Our business continues to thrive, and our sales keep growing. We are currently brainstorming products that even children who dislike vegetables will enjoy eating. And next week, our new car will arrive. Where shall we go in our new car? Munching on potato chips made from our own potatoes, I looked at my husband's smiling face.